In a podcast, Todd Chrisley responds to claims of tax evasion. Even after receiving a federal indictment, Todd and Julie Chrisley continued to podcast despite the fact that my ex-wife played a part in some of this. The actors of Chrisley Knows Best, who are currently on bond, talked about their circumstances on Chrisley Confessions on Wednesday, stating that they owed their fans honesty. To start, Julie acknowledged that the past week had been troublesome. It was disclosed that Lindsay, Todd's 29-year-old daughter, accused her father and half-brother, Chase, of extortion over an alleged sex tape, in addition to being charged with several significant financial offenses. Obviously, it's widely reported in the media that we have been accused of tax evasion and bank fraud, Todd commenced, adding that their plea of not guilty represents what it stands for. We are firm in our religion and in our belief system, and I want you all to know that, he continued. We pray every day for the prosecutors here. We pray that there's transparency and that they get to see through the evidence that our attorneys have collected over the many years, that these allegations are not true. He went on, now, in regards to our eldest daughter Lindsay, I will say to you that we are stating nothing more than that we adore Lindsay. She is my firstborn kid and will always be my daughter. That will never change. She is adored, and she has this opportunity to express herself whatever she wants to, whether or not it is true. Todd's remarks regarding Lindsay, his children from his previous marriage to Teresa Chrisley Terry, along with Kyle, turned out to be much longer. Todd cried, is forgiven. She is pardoned for the events of the past 7 to 10 days as well as the events of the investigation in which she took part. She is absolved of responsibility for her actions now and tomorrow. Lindsay reported to the police in July, alleging that she was harassed and intimidated by Todd and her half-brother Chase because of a rumored sex tape that involved her and Robbie Hayes, the Bachelorette star. She stated that her family wanted her to lie about an incident pertaining to the current crimes that her stepmother and father are facing. If she disobeyed, they were going to release the sex tape involving her, she claimed. Chase and Todd have denied any misconduct. At the end of the day, I'm her father and clearly the feelings that I have had for her entire life are not reciprocal. And for that, that's heartbreaking, Todd said. But at the end of the day I know what kind of parent I've been, I know what I do, I know what I say. Todd went on, so, my prediction is that a lot of information will be disclosed in the upcoming months. Numerous things about how we got to where we are will be made public. With the IRS and how my former spouse had a hand in some of this through her contacts with Kyle, and his former spouse is a whistleblower, alerting them to the possibility of receiving 30% of any money the IRS takes in. Everything will be revealed. The reality star then gave it back to his daughter, who he had split up with. If you notice, we have not made any statements other than that we love Lindsay, and that we don't understand it, he said. Therefore, I would advise against making accusations against me because there is always truth to be found in what I've done. Therefore, if I bit your ass because of anything you did that was despicable, and that we disapproved of, and you were punished because we abandoned you in that circumstance, then I chapped your ass. Todd may be referring to the alleged sex tape, though it's unclear to what extent. Todd asserted last week in a statement that Lindsay had adulterous romances with Josh Murray, the Bachelorette star, and Hayes. Todd went on to accuse Lindsay of fabricating stories in tabloids, particularly through her friend at Radar Online, about the family. I'm embarrassed and ashamed of what has actually transpired in our family, so we haven't gone to a tabloid and given the story of the facts, he said. It is a shame that I have raised 5 children and that the jealousy, the greed and the backstabbing that has been exhibited towards a sibling is unconscionable. Together, Todd and Julie are parents to 3 children, Grayson, 13, Chase, 23, and Savannah, 22. So with that being said, I think I've said all I'm gonna say, other than Chase has a mouth and when he is accused of something, he's going to snap back, he stated. I've advised Lindsay to close her mouth, and I've told to do the same, similar to how I urged Savannah to close hers. I've texted them all to quiet up because if something were to happen to of them, they would be embarrassed and you wouldn't be able to apologize because it would be too late. After stating, I'm going to finish this rant by saying I love all of my children, Todd turned the talk to his son Kyle, who is 27 years old. According to his father, Kyle is in therapy and trying to get to where he needs to get to while he is in Nashville. His confession to the sins he has committed and the mistakes he has made towards his family is one aspect of that. That procedure has been initiated by him. Kyle disclosed last week that he had reconciled with his father earlier this year, following years of estrangement. In closing, Todd said that his kids were grown and that he was no longer accountable to their sins as they are no longer accountable for mine. So, I love you, Lindsay. I know you're listening to this podcast. I know that your attorney is listening to it, so I wish you both a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, he concluded. I love you, I forgive you and I pray that God moves you on in prosperous way, and blesses you from this day forward.